Check, check 1, 2. Check, check 1.
thing is all. Ooh. Good evening. I am calling to order the Fountain City Council meeting for December 9th, 2025. If able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam, roll call. Clerk, please. Madam, let's try that again. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Thompson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rick.
Here.
Councilmember Geek.
Here.
Councilmember Estes.
Here.
Councilmember Hersberg.
Here.
Councilmember Veerhoff.
Here.
I have 6 members present.
All right, thank you very much, and welcome to the dais, Councilmember Veerhoff.
Thank
Nice
you,
to
Madam
have
Mayor.
here. Thank you. All right, next item, public to be heard. Citizens may address the council on items that are not on the agenda. Council may not be able to provide an immediate answer, but will direct staff to follow up. Out of respect for the council and others in attendance, please limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. The first person I have is Steve Schleicher, El Paso County Clerk and Recorder. Mr. Schleicher.
Madam Mayor, council members, good evening. My name is Steve Schleicher. I am the El Paso County Clerk and Recorder. And the reason I come down here today is to basically give a summary of the Secretary of State CSV file errors and the corrective actions that occurred during our November 4th, 2025 election. So I know there's some questions that are going on with this, but first and foremost is what exactly went wrong? So let me share with you is the issue was not with the certified election results, which come from my office, and not with any of the El Paso County certified data and ENR election night reporting results that we push out right after 7 p.m. when the polls close. The problem occurred in the Secretary of State's election night reporting system, specifically in a downloadable CSV file the Secretary of State publishes for public use and is loaded onto their website. So this was not even on the county website or clerk and recorder website. The vendor software had a coding aggregation error that affected only certain situations. And what that did is it basically affected races that included multiple precincts. So here in El Paso County, of course, we have over 370 precincts here in the county, quite a bit. But what happens is when you have precincts and you have different district boundaries within those precincts, not every voter within that precinct votes on the same thing. And this is very specific here in El Paso County, which one of the things that makes us very unique is not only do we have 5 major military installations, we got 17 school districts. We're the only county in the state that has that. Most counties have one school district. We've got multiple metro districts, municipalities, fire districts, so on and so forth. So when you look at a precinct, there is going to be multiple boundary maps that are going to overlie that. So a great example is my house. I live outside of Mountain Shadows off Garden of the Gods and Centennial. I vote in School District 11. My neighbor across the street votes in School District 20. So that is how these boundaries relate to one another. However, the vendor for the Secretary of State's office was not able to sit there and decipher pulling the votes for that specific election. They were taking the total for that precinct. So when at least one of those precincts was split, and when a county is reported, so there was 4 counties here in Colorado that were affected by this. I, as your clerk and recorder, feel it's extremely important that I provide results by the precinct level. I don't do it by a boundary or a municipality that some counties do. The reason I do it by a precinct level, it allows the voters to get right down to the root. What is going on in my neighborhood? How are things coming in? So under that combination, the state ENR system miscalculated the ballots cast field in the downloadable CSV file. The displayed website totals, where you sit there and you go on to the Secretary of State's website, that was absolutely correct. It was a hyperlink CSV file that was on the right-hand side of their website. So another question that has come up from media and also voters, did this mistake change any election results? Absolutely not. No votes were counted incorrectly. No ballots were added or removed. No precinct totals were changed. No canvass or certified results were changed, which is done by bipartisan judges, which are comprised of Democrats, Republicans, and unaffiliated judges. No equipment or tabulation issues were involved. The county's official results, including El Paso County, were accurate, verified, audited, and certified and canvassed by bipartisan judges. The issue only impacted the public-facing CSV download, not the vote totals used on Canvas or certification that we provide. So another question, Madam Mayor, why did the CSV files have different numbers than the counties? Which is a really good question. And as I shared in the first question, is because the Secretary of State's vendor system misread how to aggregate ballots when precincts are split. And we have many split precincts here in El Paso County. Counties submit correct data to the Secretary of State's office, but the vendor's election night reporting system combined ballot totals in a way that produced incorrect ballots cast. So it accounts for a small number of races across 4 counties here in the state of Colorado. So in short, counties sent correct data, the Secretary of State software processed it incorrectly, the CSV numbers did not match the county's election data, and this is why El Paso County immediately noticed the discrepancies and contacted the Secretary of State's office. And in fact, I actually reached out to the Secretary of State when we did our canvass, which is the certification here in the county, to ask for a representative to come down and or join us on Teams, and I was denied. Number 4, what is being done to prevent this from happening again? So several steps have already been taken in my office. The Secretary of State retested all affected counties. They reviewed every impacted race across the 4 counties, El Paso included, to make sure the correct CSV matched county data. Updated CSV files were reloaded and validated by my team sitting back here. I have my IS manager, Carl Nordstrom, and my elections manager, Angie Leith, which are by far the 2 best individuals in the state of Colorado. Counties requested addition validation steps, which I was one. More transparent review processes, and I also asked, when we're sitting here loading CSV files, and many of us in the IT community know is if you're taking data from one entity, uploading it into another entity, and posting it out to the public, you should have a report. You should have something saying, is this data correct? If not, then the report should basically say, we are off in these numbers on ballots cast, and that does not currently is happening, but we're working on that with the Secretary of State. A mandatory pre-publication verification window for counties and better communication when errors are discovered. So the SOS, Secretary of State, committed to improving quality checks. This includes expanded testing of split precinct scenarios, Madam Mayor, multi-precinct races, which we saw in a coordinated election, where you see in school districts where you vote for 3, shared that. Aggregation logic before any data is published. So, Madam Mayor, I just want to reassure you and the council and the residents have found that El Paso County's election results were accurate, verifiable, and certified properly by our bipartisan judges. The issue solely was with the Secretary of State's reporting file, not with county tabulation, not with any of our election equipment or systems, and not with our official results. My office identified the discrepancy early, worked directly with the Secretary of State to correct them. So are there any questions?
Any questions from anyone? This is not the first election that something like this has happened. What can we as the average citizen do to address this with the Secretary of State's office? Because we have a huge state election coming up next year. So the problem could just be multiplied even bigger, right? What can we do?
So, Madam Mayor, I will sit there and publicly share that I'm the only clerk and recorder in the state of Colorado that has publicly asked for the resignation of the Secretary of State. And I don't take that lightly. This office is actually the face of our elections in the state of Colorado. And it seems that every election that we go into, my team, thousands of election judges here in El Paso County work their tail off with integrity and transparency. And there's continued errors from the state office. Last year during our presidential election, it was bio-passwords leaks. Prior to that, it was mailing not once, but twice, 30,000 voter registration cards to illegal aliens. And it just keeps going on and on and on. And the thing is, there's very little communication from the Secretary of State, Madam Mayor. And it's left to us clerks here in the trenches to answer the questions, which are rightfully need to be answered of what is going on. But I will share with you is we have worked extremely hard in our elections, as you know. We have transformed that office, turned it upside down, and basically made it a model not only here in the state of Colorado, which we have done projects that no other clerk and recorder has done. We've been the first in the state on numerous projects and also first in the nation on several projects. But I've learned real quick is I take care of my house here. And if you want to sit there and reach out, I would definitely send her an email and just share with her as a elected official what your thoughts are in regards to the continuous errors.
Okay, thank you.
Before I leave, is if I could sit there and share with you, a month ago, my office just launched a new property fraud program. This is available to every residential, commercial, and or vacant land property owner. And I know many of us have seen commercials where it's like fraud alert, pay $100 a month, and you'll be notified instantaneously if anything is filed on your property, such as a quitclaim deed, a lien, so on and so forth. This is free in El Paso County. So I left you some information, and if I could, I would like to sit there and email a flyer to your clerk to sit there and possibly put up on the website. But if your citizens go to epcrecords.com, you can sign up for this free feature, but you will be emailed instantaneously if anybody files anything on your property, and if it's found to be fraudulent, then I work with the district attorney to investigate and prosecute. So this is now a free program countywide.
Thank you so much, because I think a lot of people, especially if your house is paid off and you don't have that extra layer of the bank being involved, you're a little concerned. If you could hang out for just a second while we go through, I do have a card up here from a citizen asked with election questions. I
Sure.
don't know if they still want to ask them, but yeah. So, but if you, we'll let them come up. So if you, yeah, thank you. We'll go out of order. Go ahead, friend, come on, friend, and state your name for the record, and then you got the pro here to ask if you have a question. So.
Well, it's a little different. Oh, hi, I'm Fran Carrick, It's a little different than what we're dealing with Jenna Griswold. But it was an interesting election this year in that we had 2 running unopposed, and we had one, the mayor, running against a felon. And that was pretty much the topic of conversation, that Mr. Linder was a felon. He knows that, we all know that, and congratulations on your seat. I wasn't running for any seat, and I'm here to tell you that I was cyberbullied, and I was cyber-stalked, and I think it's by someone in this room. They know when I'm at a council meeting, when I'm not. They know when I'm at a, when I was at the Greet the Candidates. They knew what questions I ask and what questions I ask at a council meeting, and they feed them back to me. And that person's name, hiding behind the keyboard, is Nicole Garrett. And this is the same kind of bullying that went on with Don Harnack. And it was a person that just has no credibility and pretty yellow. And they scared her, but I'm not scared, I'm just mad. Now, I haven't heard anything from this Nicole Garrett since the election. But at the same time, Eric Gregg was running for council. And I received a text. So this person has my cell number. And the registered agent is Garrett Smith. He called Eric Gregg a radical Marxist. This is a council in Fountain. Hardly anyone cares what happens in Fountain, but obviously this person does. The name of the leadership committee is Apple Orchard. He also told me that Sean Verhoff was the only registered Republican running. Now, I'm asking tonight that this person, whoever it is, knock it off. But if anyone in this room knows who it is, if you would ask them to knock it off. If you think that this doesn't hurt Fountain's reputation, then you're not listening, because I believe it does. Do you have any questions for me? That's all I have.
No, thank you very much. All right, the next card I have is Keith Rubel from VFW 6461. Thank you, Steve. That's the only cards I had on election, so, yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. The only thing I have for the VFW for you guys this month, we usually do our steak night on the fourth Friday of each month. But with Christmas being on the 25th, which is a Thursday, we've decided to do our steak night this Friday, 12th December at 5 to 7, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., sorry. We also have a Wreaths Across America ceremony at Fairview Cemetery Saturday at 11 a.m. I also have an award for a Mr. Bill Fenlon. Is he?
He is not here tonight.
He's not here? All
But
right.
if you want to read it in the record, we can present it to him.
All right, it says, "We, the members of VFW Post 6461 and Auxiliary, would like to thank you for your heartfelt consideration and cooperation on volunteering your time to our flag retirement ceremony on 25 October 2025. With your help, it made a successful event."
Thank you very much. You can hand that to the city clerk or someone over here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Do you still need volunteers for putting out wreaths on, is it?
Yes, we do.
And are they putting them out Friday or Saturday?
Both me and the commander will be there at 8 o'clock
8 o'clock.
Saturday morning
Okay,
to do that.
all right.
We also have,
Oh, if you could step back the microphone.
yeah, we also have the Patriots Pen Dinner is gonna be that night at our post. We don't know what's going, I still gotta talk to Quartermaster Steve Urbany and the commander and find out the gist of the dinner. But that's supposed to be that night. And once I get information, I'll let yourself, Madam Mayor,
Okay.
and the city council know.
Yeah, we can share it, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if somebody still wants to help put out wreaths, they could just show up at the cemetery on Saturday morning, and you
Yes,
guys will tell them
but-
what to do.
Yes, but 8:30, both me and the commander will be there.
Okay, 8:30, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in today. All right, the next card I have is Penny Chimino and weeds. Middle
Got
button.
it, okay. Penny Chimino, and you're gonna see a video that's in response to some videos that Sharon did online. That is about the weeds on 85, 87 and CDOT and how they can't do anything about it. They were supposed to show those two videos, but that was not possible, so you'll just see mine.
Hey Scott, do you think we can use these trees for our Arbor Day count? Hey Scott, do you need a grasshopper? These weeds have been here for the last 2 years. These mattresses were here all summer long. You can do something about this. CDOT doesn't have to get involved. Sharon can even get her wheelbarrow and her weed eater and whatever she'd like to do here is just fine.
It would have been better with the other two videos ahead of it, but I guess that wasn't possible, so that's okay. But that is an area right on El Paso, and it can be taken care of and should be taken care of. Your videos were about CDOT and 85, 87, and I think you guys can take care of that also. If you have documentation that you have reached out to CDOT, that we have an area that is having problems, then they don't take care of it and they don't do anything about it, then I think the city has an obligation to do something about it. And if you have the documentation showing that you reached out to them, then I don't see what they can do about it. But that is an area that should be taken care of.
I don't want to take up your time if you're not finished.
Do you have any questions? How do we get that taken care of?
Well, yeah, we just want to make sure you're done, so, yeah. Okay, thank you. For anybody in the room, there is an app that you can download on your phone, and you take a photo of it and GPSes it right to the site. Mr. Trainer, I think you might have some information. I was going to mention that. Okay, all righty. And I have personally reported that area twice, and those mattresses, I believe, are removed. And the first time
No, they're not. As of when? I drive by it every day.
So are you good with me giving some
Yes,
history?
go ahead.
Okay. So Penny, after I saw your video, I went ahead and checked into this with our code enforcement. And basically, we had 2 complaints that were filed on this. The first one into September, actually by Sharon Thompson. And it went into our queue just like every other complaint does. It wasn't handled any preferential treatment. So a few weeks later, our code enforcement did the first notification to the landowner, referenced the condition as well as the 2 mattresses. So a second complaint came in from the mayor. It went back in the queue, same thing. So the second notification went out to the landowner. Landowner is an absentee landowner, which we have with many, many pieces of property in the city. So that actually has gone, and that is an active case. It's an abatement case. Those takes months, not weeks, especially when we have an absentee owners that don't reply. This owner has done this a couple of different times with the weeds, I'm sure you know, because you drive
Yes.
past that.
Yes.
So when I saw your video, the mattresses, because they are on the sidewalk, that's an ADA violation. So those were picked up yesterday. If a mattress sits just on a piece of property, that's the property owner's responsibility, and that's involved with the
Oh, I
abatement
know.
process
I've-
itself.
I've had to do mattresses before.
Yeah,
Yes.
so, this one was handled just like every other case. The mayor actually filed 2 complaints. There's an active abatement case going on with that landowner, and we'll keep moving forward with just like we do the other landowners.
All right, so what are we doing about CDOT?
CDOT, I can personally tell you, because I make many of those complaints, CDOT, because of their budget cuts, their maintenance budget has been cut so much that they're not maintaining any of their highways or roadways like they used to. So instead, they used to do those twice a year, now they're down to once a year. So the cities move forward with actually taking over some responsibility for some areas of 85, not Mesa Ridge, but 85, where we're able to, because we just don't have the resources or the funding to take over all of the state highways that we have going through the city.
All right, thank you.
And we do have a paper trail. I have talked to CDOT. Gordon, Councilmember Rick has multiple pictures and things to CDOT and emails to CDOT. Representative Bradfield has reached out to CDOT. Todd's reached out to CDOT. And like he said, it's a tough issue, because once you start doing it, you might do it once, but oh, look, they did it, they have the money, and now you're in charge of it forever. So we're paying our
Right.
tax money to them to take care of it.
Right.
And, yeah, and they're
But at
not
some
doing it.
point, you have to take care of it. So,
Right.
Yep.
Thank you. All right,
Madam Mayor, can I
yes,
address that?
yes.
Penny, thank you for coming in. Just so you know, I've contacted County Commissioner Corey Applegate, State Representative Mary Bradfield. I've contacted our State Senator Mark Snyder, and I've contacted the CDOT representative for our region, both verbally and on email, asking for that kind of support. We did get some potholes filled this year, but the weeds and the sand and salt still have not been taken care of per my requests. But we are trying.
And I want to just comment that to make sure we're all realistic with the budget cuts that are going on, we're not going to see any services pick up. We went through this during the recession. We're going to see more cuts, and the first thing they cut is a lot of the maintenance. So I want to make sure, no matter how many times we call, we do everything, we're realistic, that as budget cuts, we're going to see the service cuts as well. That's just the way it goes.
All right, thank you. My next card is from Brian Cheney, I think it is, and Willie Mitchell, and they wanted to talk about a parking sign in front of their property. Gentlemen, just push the middle button. Thank you, and state your names for the record, please.
Brian Cheney. Willie Mitchell. So we're here because we live at 506 Fountain Mesa. We've lived there for 43 years. This is my father-in-law, it's his property. I personally have been in the family for the last 15. We have had issues at the intersection of Fountain Mesa and Blossom Field over the years. We've had accidents where cars have came into our property, hit our cars, hit our house. Neighbor across the street, same thing. We have a problem during school season with high school kids, especially driving very fast up and down Fountain Mesa, especially where we live. We have filed complaints throughout the years. Other people have filed complaints. A number of years ago, a no parking sign was placed next to our mailbox, which would be the north side of our driveway. There is not room to park on the other side before you get to the corner. That is obviously a hazard. However, most recently, we were given a citation and the parking sign was moved from our mailbox all the way to our property line, eliminating all street parking in front of our house. My in-laws are both retired. As you can see, I am handicapped. I have 2 vehicles. We have been told that we need to either park across the street and cross this street that people speed on, or park on Blossom Field on the side of our property and walk all the way around. There has been 3 vehicles, and I totally agree that 3 vehicles parked on the street in front of our house is too much. It does cause an obstruction. The solution to this problem is not to take away our rights. My 2 vehicles have handicap plates and placards. I don't feel that it's right that I should have to walk all the way around my property or attempt to cross the street when I can barely walk. So we're here today. I was advised to come here to present this problem to y'all to see if we could come up with a resolution. Whether it's handicap vehicles only allowed, well, you know, what can we do? On top of this, my niece has 5 children. 3 of those are special needs. They catch the school bus at our house. So every morning around the same time that people are going to work, she does park at the end of our driveway to bring her handicapped children inside. She's there 10 to 15 minutes and then she leaves. In the afternoon, she returns to pick up these children. We agree that something needs to be done about this intersection, whether it be a 4-way stop, a red light, even a roundabout. But to put our family and us in danger by telling us we need to cross the street. We've had our vehicles broken into, police reports filed. A couple years ago, I had over $2,000 worth of tools stolen out of my Jeep. We have installed a security system that monitors the front of our house 24/7, 365 days a year. We're here to find out what we can do. We were advised to speak with y'all on this matter. So that's why we're here. Hopefully, we can come up with a resolution. Again, I agree, 3 vehicles is too much. But to have 2 vehicles parked in front of our house, it is a safety issue, it is a medical issue, and that's pretty much the short of why we're here today.
Mr. Evans?
Sure. So gentlemen, I'm familiar with your situation a little bit. I can't comment on the active court case that you've got going on, but what I can offer you.
There's no active court case.
Do we not have?
No, there's not.
Open case, my fault.
There's not even a case, sir.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll meet with you all here shortly. I'll walk out and meet with you. I'll give you my card. I'll get you in touch with our city engineer and I'll meet with you with our city engineer. Those decisions aren't made at a council level. All of the street sign type of decisions have to be made by traffic engineers. So happy to meet with you all with our engineers and you all can have those discussions. But all of the requirements have to be met through, it's called the MUTC engineering requirements. And your specific situation is because of the site triangle. So let's meet outside. I'll give you my card and we'll set up a meeting with our city
Yes,
engineer.
sir, and we understand that, but we don't understand why we're having our rights taken away when that site problem has been there since the subdivision was built and we've been there for 43 years. This is a problem that should have been taken care of without taking away our rights to park in front of our home. It's not right.
I'm not a traffic engineer. I can't get you that answers, but we'll see if we can find you a solution, okay?
Okay.
I'll meet you guys outside.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, that is all the cards I have for tonight under public to be heard. And that takes us to the presentation, Pikes Peak Area Crime Stoppers, Chief Christiani and Chairman Don Addy. I think you
Good
had
evening, Mayor, Council.
had a few others with you, too.
Sitting in for Chief Christiani.
Yes,
I just want to
well,
introduce Mr.
Wait, he's playing volleyball, right?
He is playing
For
volleyball.
For the toy thing tonight, raising money for the toys for the kids. Okay, that's a decent excuse, okay.
I'd like to introduce Don Addy with Pikes Peak Area Crime Stoppers, here to talk about the organization and what they do and why they're so important to the area.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor, council members. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name's Don Addy. I'm honored to serve as the chairman of the Pikes Peak Area Crime Stoppers. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. I'm joined today by a couple of our fellow board members. Pete Carey is the former chief of police of the Colorado Springs Police Department. He is our vice chairman. Also joined is Howard Black, former lieutenant and public information officer for the police department, and Randy Helms, former president of the Colorado Springs City Council. We're also joined on the board by Dan May, retired district attorney for the Colorado 4th Judicial District, and Elizabeth Domingue, who is a retired school superintendent of the city of Manitou. We have Nate Springer, who is the CEO of Care and Share. We've heard a lot about them lately. And our board is very committed to helping law enforcement agencies solve and reduce crime. Let me give you a brief presentation that will explain us a little bit better. We promote the active engagement of citizens in preventing and reducing crime. It's important to us that citizens are aware of us so they can help in this effort. We manage a crime reporting platform. If you call the number on our logo, you'll be received by a call service where you can give them information about a crime that you are aware of or the location of a wanted person, and that information then is put into a database system. We maintain this on an anonymous basis. We guarantee anonymity. We serve both El Paso and Teller counties, and I'll share that anonymity a little bit more later. We have 3 reasons why we remain anonymous with this information. Many people who don't want to get involved, they're a fear of reprisal, perhaps by somebody that knows them. Maybe they're apathetic about the willingness to get involved, and they're reluctant to share information. But the anonymity that we provide and assure gives us a chance to offer them a reward, so that the incentive that we provide to citizens is a reward for information that ultimately leads to an arrest. We are protected by a statute in the state of Colorado. A defense attorney cannot subpoena our records to find out who the tip came from, but even if they did, we don't know. So we have a good, solid protection against people being identified. Here's how our system works. Somebody gives us a tip. It's entered into our database. It's giving a tracking number, a tip number, and the caller, or the tipster, is given a tip number. And that information is forwarded by volunteers to the database. The law enforcement agency that's jurisdiction covers that sort of crime, whether it's in El Paso County or Teller County, is given that tip and referred to them. That's when they begin their investigation. If that leads to an arrest, then we are notified again, and the volunteer then is told that they have qualified for a reward. We ask them to appear before our bank, where they can collect their reward, again anonymously, by giving the bank their tip number and their code name. This is how the cash system works. It's all cash. There's no checks, so we never know who these people are who give us this information. Here's some successes that we've had. The number of tips that you're seeing there, 1476, has been increased. Lately, our tips at the end of October is now over 2,000. We've had 21 arrests this year versus previous years. We've paid out $7,500 in rewards that we've offered to citizens and recovered over $34,000 worth of stolen property from tips given to our law enforcement agencies. Here are some of our partners. We have partnerships in our 2 counties because it helps us reduce crime. The Humane Society is one of our most important ones. Believe it or not, we get as many as 2 or 3 animal cruelty tips every week. It's a sad statement, but we do. Those tips are forwarded to the Humane Society. They have law enforcement jurisdictions. They can issue subpoenas after they investigate if they're deserved. The Gazette is a major partner of ours. They publish our wanted persons in the paper every Monday. They're also giving us a quarter-page insert on Fridays for what we call our most wanted individual. We've joined with the Downtown Partnership in Colorado Springs. We've asked the partnerships to place our Crime Stopper logo in their windows. We can't prove that it's a deterrent because you can't prove something that didn't happen. But we know that when people see it, they're more likely to obey or turn the other way. The Home Builders Association is proof of that. Recently, in the last couple of years, there's been a large number of burglaries of building materials from building sites. They put a big Crime Stopper banner offering a $1,000 reward in front of these home sites, and the number of burglaries dropped dramatically. So we do think it does have a deterrent effect. Better Business Bureau is also important to us. If you're familiar with them, they scrub organizations very thoroughly to determine if they're legitimate, valid going concerns. We've been certified now for the last 4 years in a row. We partner with the military police at Fort Carson and the garrisons at Peterson and Schriever as well. If a tip comes to us about an incident on the post, it goes to one of the law enforcement agencies in the garrison. If it's outside the post, it'll go to the local law enforcement agency. Here's how you can help. If you have neighbors and friends who are not aware of us, we'd ask you to share our name and awareness with them. We need more people to be aware of us. Our theory is that awareness will bring tips. Tips mean more chance of arrest, and that's why we're doing what we do it. Keep your eyes open for acts that you think are nefarious or maybe criminal, and then join the Colorado Springs Police Department's Neighborhood Watch program. It's a great program. It involves neighbors across our city and encourage the same sort of program to get started down here in Fountain. So be aware, look around. Awareness means more tips, more arrests, means less crime, safer community. That's our story. I offer our fellow board members an opportunity if they have anything to add to this, please. Okay, good. And I offer you, are there questions that you have for us?
Thank you very much. Are any questions from anybody on council? All right. And it probably went by, you have a website, I assume?
I beg your pardon?
You have a website?
Yes,
Let's
Crime
say
Stop.
it for the people online.
Crimestop.net.
Crimestop.net.
www.crimestop.net.
Okay.
I want to thank the Chief Cristiano for this opportunity. Please extend my thanks to him for that as well. And thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Okay, that takes us to Board, Commission, and Committee. Ms. Carneal, we have the reappointment of 2 members of the Personnel Grievance Committee, item 5.2.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. As you may recall, about the same time last year, we did some appointments for the Personnel and Grievance Board. And at that time, all of those positions were expired, and we were reappointing, and to do that in a staggered term frame. 2 of them are now back up to that. So in order to hit that staggered time frame of terms, I have 2 appointments this evening requesting one for a 2-year term and one for a 3-year term. Neither of those members are here this evening to speak with you today. Both of them are continuing to, or have offered to continue their seat and doing those things. Mr. Brian Johnson is being asked for a 2-year term, and Ms. Shirley Martinez for a 3-year term. And I would need each of those in an individual vote because of the term differences.
Okay, all righty. So we have that, and they both were here when they were initially appointed, so.
They were
some
both
of us have,
initially here,
yeah,
correct.
seen them
Yes,
before.
yes.
So, okay, seeing that, what would council like to do? Councilmember Hertzberg.
I'd like to move to approve to reappoint Mr. Brian Johnson for a 2-year term to the Personnel Grievance Board.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? Councilmember Estes?
I second that.
And that's okay. You're new. Don't worry about it. All righty. And so we have a motion and a second. Is there any further deliberation on Mr. Brian Johnson for a 2-year term? Seeing none, please vote.
There we go. I have 6 yes, motion carried.
All right, thank you very much. And so we need a second motion for Ms. Martinez. Jennifer, I'm sorry, Councilmember Hertzberg?
I move to reappoint Ms. Shirley Martinez for a 3-year term to the Personnel Grievance Board.
Councilmember Geek?
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the appointment of Ms. Shirley Martinez for the 3-year term. Is there any further deliberation? Seeing none, please vote. Moving too fast for the machine, huh?
No, I'm having an issue with the machine over here. I'm going to do a verbal vote for this one, please. Mayor Thompson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Rick, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Geek, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Estes, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Hertzberg, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Veerhoff, how do you vote?
Yes.
I have 6 yes, motion carried.
All right, thank you very much. And tell them thank you for being willing to continue. All right, and that takes us to item 5.3. I don't know why anybody's here tonight. Maybe they're here for this item, huh? And that takes us on to the vacancy appointment. So I'd like to thank all the applicants. We received 6 applicants for the vacant council member seat, and we received the packets a while ago, and we've been reviewing them. And I'd like to thank everybody who turned one in today for putting your name and yourself out there. It's always a very difficult thing to do, and with receiving 6, obviously not everybody can win for one seat. But I just want to tell everybody thank you so much for being here today. I do believe we have 2 people that have withdrawn.
Correct. Mr. James Hardcastle and Mr. Scott Taylor have both notified staff that they wouldn't be available to come this evening to be a part of this, withdrawing themselves.
All right, so down to 4, okay? This process is laid out in our city charter on how to fill a council vacancy. The city charter was put in place by a vote of the people, and any changes that would be made to the city charter would be by a vote of the people. And this process was put in that charter in anticipation of a vacancy on council for any reason, so the government continued to move forward. So you have had a vote in this, maybe not this time around, but when the charter was adopted, that's when it was done. This is the second time this year we're using this process. Councilmember Geek was appointed a few months ago to fill a vacancy and then elected this November and just sworn in tonight. And our newest member, for the next few minutes, you're the newest member. Our newest member, Councilmember Veerhoff, went through the process, and then he decided to run for office, and he was not appointed because he won the election. And so he is up here tonight. So we have 2 people up here who have understood your nerves tonight and how nervous you are and everything going on. The process will be, the city clerk is going to draw a name, and that first person will come up, state their name, and read their statement that we asked them to prepare. We'll continue that way through all the applicants. If at the end of all the statements, a city council member would like to ask a clarifying question, just very short, to one applicant, that would just be the only thing, and like they didn't understand anything. We're not going to open it up to general questioning. My hope would be that your statement helps us gather enough information that no clarifying questions are necessary, and that we would just go straight to a discussion as a council. After the discussion, we will vote for the new council member, and that person will come up, be sworn in, and take the empty seat. A tie, if we had a tie, 3-3 vote, would mean that the motion, that particular motion that was being voted on, and would not pass, and that we'd have to have because you have to have a majority of 4 to pass. Doesn't mean you're out, it just means it didn't go through that round, and we would just have to keep continuing. The new council member be sworn in, take their seat, and start with the council votes. And again, I want to say thank you to everybody for coming out here tonight for your applications, for your time, and please, not everybody's going to get picked. Not everybody won in the election. Please continue to stay involved. Please continue to write us. There will be 7 of us up here, and if you have a concern, you can reach out to any one of us or all of us. And we have different people at large and awards. And so, is there any questions from any council members on the process? Councilmember Veerhoff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't believe it's in the packets, the asking of a veteran status for any of the candidates running. And I was curious if we could ask them that for part of their presentation.
And they could have included that in their packet, but everybody's, we had a chance to do that, so.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay. All right, so with that, Madam Clerk, if you would draw the first name, please.
Miss Connie Weisenhunt.
Okay. Somebody's got to go first, and then it's over with.
Right?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, city officials, friends, residents, and my handsome son. My name is Connie Weisenhunt, and I am a Colorado native from Pueblo. I have lived in Fountain for many years. I have raised my son here, volunteered through his school years, worked locally, and I've been a small business owner for almost 2 decades, running a thrift store, a cleaning business, and my bookstore for the past 3 years. And all of these experiences have kept me deeply connected with the community we share. One of the questions asked is, what is the most pressing issue facing Fountain? One of the biggest challenges our city faces is managing rapid growth while protecting small businesses and longtime residents who make Fountain unique, while also ensuring that our infrastructure, our roads, utilities, public safety, and city services can keep up with that growth. I have seen firsthand how growth affects foot traffic, affordability, and access to resources. I support transparent planning and collaboration with departments to anticipate future needs. When we prioritize a strong infrastructure, responsible growth, and clear communication, we protect the safety, stability, and quality of life for every family in Fountain. The second question posed is your experience working with a diverse group. I'm proud of my collaboration with many groups in our community, but I want to highlight 2 examples of my work. One is first partnering with Fountain Utilities to revise payment arrangements, and in the past, providing free food for distribution for families. Both projects allowed for collaboration with residents, nonprofits, volunteers, and city staff, each bringing different experiences and perspectives. By focusing on clear communication, mutual respect, and shared goals, we're able to support families in need while protecting city resources. Together, we created processes that made a meaningful difference to our community. Each group had a unique need and expectation, which required me to adapt my communication, listen carefully, and remain flexible. These experiences have continued to teach me the value in every voice at the table, and that it leads to collaborative solutions that truly serve the community. The last question asked is, what is the role of City Council? I believe the primary role of City Council member is to be a bridge, someone that the community can talk to, someone who listens, and someone who makes decisions based on what is best for all the residents. Being accessible and approachable is essential, and I take pride in being someone people feel comfortable coming to. The council's job is to set policy, provide oversight, and guide the city's direction responsibly and transparently. But most importantly, the council should involve the public in these decisions. When the community is a part of the process, we build trust and unity and a stronger Fountain overall. I have placed my name on 2 ballots, earning strong support from voters who believe in my commitment and my character. And now I stand before you, once again. This is my 3rd attempt, and I come to you with sincere desire to share my hopes and my experience and my willingness to learn. I have no agenda, only genuine commitment to serve, to grow, and to help educate others as I continue to learn. I believe in service and community connection. Fountain deserves another person much like you, who will lead, who will listen, who will work, and who will show up every single day, ready to support the people who live here. I am your next team member, and I am the right person for the seat. And if you have any questions, please email Todd Evans. Just kidding. Thank you.
Everybody should have that one memorized by now, huh? Yes, okay. I got to get a new one next year. Who's my next victim I can give out their email address on, huh? Thank you very much, Connie. Appreciate you coming forward tonight and doing an application. Ms. Carneal.
Mr. Edward Volz, please.
Push the middle button. Yep, and state your name, yes.
Yes, my name is Ed Volz. I've been a longtime resident of Fountain. I've been here since 1991. My kids have all gone through the school district here. My wife has done 28 years here in the school district, and I am proud to say that I am a proud resident of Fountain. One of my main goals is to have everybody in the city of Fountain to be a proud resident. Sorry about that. Yeah, I want to see the city of Fountain more involved, the residents. I would love someday to put a motion forward to put an item on the budget to put more chairs in here because we're overflowing the council chambers with people. I want to see that. I will say that I'm honored. I feel honored and blessed. This for the opportunity to be able to put my name in for this and given the opportunity to give back to my community. While I'm coming to the end of my working career, I have been looking forward to a way to give back to my community and making a difference for the residents in the city of Fountain. I'm looking forward to working with fellow council members, Madam Mayor, to make this happen. I strongly believe that you can never complete a task on your own. It takes a team. The people sitting behind the dais, I look as the managers of this team, and the players, and the most important players of the team is the residents of the Fountain. I will ensure that I will listen to the people of Fountain, but I know as a manager sitting back there behind that dais that we have to make tough decisions sometimes. And sometimes the residents don't understand, but it's our job to communicate that to them. I will assure you, if I become a member of the City Council, I am not coming here and saying everything is wrong, everything is bad. There is a lot of good things happening in the City of Fountain, a lot of them. And I believe one of the most beautiful things we have in our world is an opinion. And I value everyone's opinion, and I will not disregard anybody's opinion just because it's different than mine. One of the things I do get frustrated with is the answer no, especially when it just becomes a quick and easy answer. To set boundaries and limits, sometimes we have to say no. But I will never say no until all resources and strategies has been exhausted. We need to guarantee the safety and the security of our residents by supporting and backing our first responders. We need to ensure that first responders are not just accepted in this community, but welcome. And I hope if I get on the board, there's ride-alongs involved. So, as I mentioned, my wife worked in the school district for 28 years in Fountain, and I got to witness firsthand the amazing people that made up the district. We need to continue to expand the partnership between the Fountain Fort Carson School District Administration, School Board, and the educators. But when it comes to partnerships, none is more important than our relations we have with our military community. We must be committed in keeping our strong ties with our local military bases, our active duties, their family members, and also our veteran residents. I believe that we must have growth to have a vibrant community. But I do want to see the slowing of the residential growth and expanding the commercial growth. I want to give the people of Fountain a reason to stay in Fountain. We always hear the term smart growth. I believe that'll be up to the City Council to make that what is the definition of City Council, of smart growth, sorry. I'm not against the PPRTA, but I need to look at the findings of the original task force, and we need to ask the question, what will Fountain's fair share of the money distribution be? If we as a council would want to join the PPRTA, then it'll be up to us to educate the citizens on the value of joining, and it's not just a tax increase, what our resident citizens have been saying. I've been looking over the Fountain Manual Strategic Plan, and there's a lot to do in 2026, and I'm looking forward to getting to work with you guys on that. And again, I will say, Madam Mayor, council members, I am looking forward to serving my community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate you bringing your name forward and putting yourself out there. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Ms. Audra Ruffinak. Hopefully I said that correct.
Good evening. I'm Audra Ruffinak. I've written this 5 times, and I'm as nervous as I could be. So I'll just be honest about that up front. I, like everyone else who's going to stand before you, is a long time a resident here in Fountain. I know I have a limited time to speak with you and 3 questions to address. I'm going to start by introducing myself. I've been married for 28 years, and I'm lucky enough to have my husband sitting here with me. We moved here to Fountain in 2004 when we built our home in the Heritage neighborhood. I have a son who's 26 years old, and he's a graduate here of Fountain High School. I'm a retired teacher and assistant principal, and at this time, I'm a substitute teacher, but I choose only to work here in our Fountain School District. My husband owns a small business, and I work in the office for him daily, doing battle with QuickBooks, which I frequently lose. And we share a small real estate business. I enjoy volunteering in the community, but I try to stay active with just 2 charities a year. Otherwise, I will drown. I previously served the City of Fountain on the Economic Development Committee, overseen by Kimberly Bailey. The most pressing issues facing Fountain today, as seen by the City Council, were outlined in the strategic plan. 4 priorities were identified for these 3 years in this window: strengthening public communication, improving public transportation, supporting local business development, and enhancing water and electric security. As a matter of fact, I believe they're hanging on the wall. I probably didn't need to include them. I started on this journey tonight before you with a very specific idea in mind that aligned to this plan and the SMART goals for local business development. As the wife of a small business owner and a small business owner myself, anyone would see how I'd be drawn to this goal. Even the SMART goals that are written to achieve this goal spoke to me. Securing federal and state grants, using matching funds to support the community, updating, repurposing buildings in our community and community sites, but that immediately went out the window and changed for me as soon as I started the process. So you asked me to get 25 signatures in order to start down this road and perhaps join you on the dais. And I did that and a few more, just in case. And no less than 18 of those people and their friends, extras of the 25 that I procured, asked me where they could find out information about City Council. The first question they said was, asked of me, was not a fiscal goal. It was not about my background. It was not ever how I have served this community before, what I did for a living. They wanted to know, am I approachable? How can constituents find information on what's happening with City Council? They also asked if I would serve honestly and put the needs of the community first, and where they could find out if I were doing that. 18 times I was asked that question. 18 times. I therefore decided that my personal goal would be to look at communication with our diverse community. Because even though you made that your first goal when setting the strategic priorities, I came into this with the idea in my head that local business development was my first goal. But every person that I spoke to played a part in changing my mind. I know the tools that are already in place. I cannot tell you how many people I shared the ability to go onto YouTube, which is how I normally participate or watch City Council meetings. They didn't even know it was available. Some of them didn't know how to find it. I can't tell you how many people I showed how to do that if they're unable to attend, if they have small children they're putting to bed. This is not new.
You did not just suddenly do this. Yet, being that bridge, there are many people whom I taught to access these meetings so that they can stay informed. Certainly, we have other tools, and I want to continue to help develop other tools for the community, but you asked me to be brief. We have a diverse city council, which I greatly appreciate because we have a diverse community here in Fountain. I was asked to provide an example of a time that I worked with a similarly diverse group to achieve a goal. And what I'd like to talk about today is the time that I served on the board of the ECW Thrift House. 3 churches in our diocese own the Thrift House with the goal of a quarterly disbursement that would go back to the churches in the diocese where the volunteers could fund their charitable efforts. In order to do that, this very diverse group who represent different sized parishes and agendas and very different backgrounds would have to come together and be profitable. In order to meet the overall goal, we had to manage the donations themselves, manage the paid employees, manage every shift of volunteers, and then the outreach to the rescue mission, which was across the street at Tejon from the shop. We were also responsible for the physical plant and the running of a store the way anyone else would be. It was a very challenging couple of years for me. But the work we did was incredibly rewarding. Every single quarter that I served, we made a disbursement to the volunteering organizations, and we maintained our services to the rescue mission. And I was incredibly proud of that. The role and responsibility of a city council member is to be the voice of Fountain and act on behalf, collaboratively, with the team that they have chosen to represent them. The vision of Fountain is to be an all-American city with a strong sense of community where you know that you are home. That vision can only be achieved if we work together with the residents of Fountain, with the dedicated city employees, with the citizens who volunteer on our action committees, like the Planning Committee, Economic Development Committee, so many other committees that we have. The residents who come forward to speak at city council meetings, and of course, work in collaboration with our military installations. It is city council's job to make a thoughtful plan to carry us into the future, as well as address the realities that present themselves to us every day. I'd like to close by saying that I am certainly not a politician, as you well now recognize from this speech. I have been privileged to have many experiences, and I tried to share some here that might help you make a decision. I can tell you that I care about this city so very much. I hope that my histories and actions can speak to that. I'm a hard worker. I will take time to do right by the people of Fountain. I like to talk. If you know me, that is no secret. But I am a great listener, and I'm ready to listen to the people of Fountain, to the people who work here, and do the work that needs done. So I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you also stepping forward and putting your name out there. Thank you. I think we know who the last one is, huh? Are you going to state his name?
Mr. Kevin Connors, please.
Hit the middle button.
Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. Most of what I've written here is about me and my family, to describe who I am and what I've done since I've moved here to Colorado. My name is Kevin Connors, and I have lived here for 15 years. I can actually say I'm a native Coloradan because I was born in Aurora, Colorado at Fitzsimmons Army Hospital. Shortly after that, my father, a Vietnam vet, got out of the military, so we moved to Illinois. At the age of 12, I decided to play football, and the requirement was to have a birth certificate. My parents had that birth certificate, but chose to take a vacation to come back to show me where I was from. after we picked up the birth certificate, we headed to Colorado Springs. I cannot say at the time what highway that was, but I believe it was Highway 24. And if anybody remembers or knows when you come down 24, you see the mountains start to raise as you head into Colorado Springs. At that time, at the age of 12, I told my family that I would live in Colorado when I got older. And, in 2006, I decided to move here. I unfortunately went through a divorce, and I had a brother living in Monument. Because he was stationed at Fort Carson, I had the place to stay to start over. I started working at Memorial Hospital, which I truly enjoyed. The one thing I didn't do was follow my family into the military. Even though my father, my uncles, my brother, and my cousins did, I did not. My father was the true military version in my upbringing. I knew that I wanted to serve, but at my age, when I made the final decision that it was time for me to serve, I was in my 30s, and I felt that it was too late. I decided to find another way to help the military. So I took my first GS job with the Navy in Fallon, Nevada. 9 months later, I was able to transfer back to Fort Carson, where I've been working for the past 16 years. I grew up in Illinois, where I went to school as a radiologic technologist, got married, and was blessed to have two beautiful children, my daughter Hope and my son Caden. My daughter followed in my footsteps and has her degree in radiologic technologist. My son was born with Down syndrome, but he reminds me every day how beautiful life truly is. Once I settled in Colorado, I was blessed to find marriage again. I met my wife at Evans Army Hospital. She is a veteran, and she has two beautiful children, a boy Josh and a girl Leah. My children and her children get along great. We both still work at Evans Hospital, myself in radiology, my wife as a surgical tech. I feel that because of my work, it allows me to answer the second question, working with a diverse group. I've been in the medical field, I've worked in the medical field for over 30 years. I worked with the civilians and military. With many of the civilians have been in the military and few retired from the military. Working with both military and civilian, I would say the most challenging part, which is with everything we do, is communication. Let everyone know what the intent is, what the goal is to achieve in completing that task. I work with a great group of people. They work very hard, and the main priority is patient care, the same as customer care for this group. The past 2 months have been very challenging for us. From October 1st to the middle of November, no matter how difficult it was, we were a team, and no matter what we were going through, we were always there for each other. There is no diversity with which we have all the same goal. We are an army of one, even though we are civilians. We are a team, and we are a family, and we help each other and make patient priority number one. The first question, what do I see as an important issue facing the city, and how would you work with the city council? Like most, if not all cities, education, water issues, quality and amount, future changes, everything from running the what I'd recently read was Colorado is in the process of switching to electricity for all future homes to be built, doing away with natural gas. Also because of the strategic planning, which is clearly placed on the wall right here, I'd like to help the city council to make sure the plans continue to move forward. I want to learn as much as I can from the vast amount of knowledge this council has to offer. In my view, what is the primary role, responsibility? Helping shape the local community by making local policies, ordinance, passing laws, approve budgets, and overseeing city departments. I believe it is our responsibility to be advocates for our community, also be transparent and accessible, looking out for the best interests of the community, ensuring public safety, improve quality of life, help build the growth of businesses and housing. I believe our intent is to help build a thriving, happy, healthy community, listen to what the community has to say, and help address any concerns it may have. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you also putting your name forward and making your statement. Thank you. All right. I'm going to bring it back up here to the dais. And did anyone have any clarifying questions to any particular candidate? Okay, perfect. Okay. All righty, so let's bring it back up here and have a high-level conversation on if anything that you in particular were looking for, anything you would like to discuss, or anything like that before we take it to a vote. Okay. Well, I appreciate all the time everybody put into their statements. I was listening for certain things in statements, and some of those things that I was looking for was if I thought you understood what the role of the council was, and doing research on what we've been doing up here in the previous council for the last couple of years in terms of strategic plan and just kind of how the council operates. And so I know I had a couple of candidates for myself that kind of rose to the top on my thoughts and ideas there. Councilmember Hertzberg?
Yeah, I would agree that I was listening for some of those similar things. You know, as someone who volunteered on various boards and commissions before I ever thought about council, experience working and volunteering with the city is kind of some things that I tend to listen for, because as much as I thought I knew, I've said this so many times, when I got here, I realized how much I didn't know. So, so those are some of the things I tend to listen for.
Anyone else? Okay. Sean? Oops, I'm sorry. Going to get a habit there. Councilmember Verhoff.
Well, Mayor, I absolutely agree. I kind of pretty much did the same thing, as well as just looking for different things that would make a good team member on the council. Also to the candidates that are running, I mean, I've been in your shoes. I was in your exact shoes back in February, so I know how a lot of y'all feel, so.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. With that, I will entertain a motion, or I'll make one myself, whichever way you want to do it. Okay, Councilmember Verhoff?
I move to nominate Edward Volz for the position of council member.
Okay, hearing no second, that motion dies for lack of a second. Okay, do I have another motion? Councilmember Rick?
Madam Mayor, move to appoint Audra Rufinak, and I apologize if I butchered your name, to the City Council.
Councilmember Geek?
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Audra Rufinak. Do we have any further deliberation? Okay, seeing none, please vote. Is this going to be an oral vote? Okay. Okay, so if you're in favor of Audra Rufinak, vote yes. Okay.
I'm 6 yes, motion carried.
All right. Congratulations, Councilmember Rufinak. If you could come forward and be sworn in, congratulations. And again, thank you to the other 3 people who applied. Very hard decision to make those choices on the spot. If you applied, please don't disappear. We have boards, commissions, and other things we would love to see you get involved in and have your time. And take a deep breath, don't pass out on us. Okay, don't stop breathing over there. She's like holding her breath. Okay, all righty, and we can get her a bottle of water if we need to. Okay, all right, so if you could come forward to the clerk, please, and congratulations.
I state your name. I, Alberta, do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And of the state of Colorado. The Fountain City Charter. And the City of Fountain ordinances and codes. I will faithfully perform the duties. Of the office of. Council member at large. In Fountain, Colorado. Upon which I'm about to enter. To the best of my skill and ability.
Go down for a photo. Let's go down for a photo, everyone, so we have a full council photo real quick. All right, everybody on my left ready to get going again? Everybody on the right ready to get going? Yep. Okay, all righty. Thank you for getting us a little break, and we will get going. We're done with the vacancy appointment, and again, congratulations to our, now Sean, you're in the half an hour, you're not the newest member, so I think that's a first. Did you want to say something?
Oh, I was just saying I only have about 30 minutes of seniority now, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Okay, that takes us on to item 6, correspondence, comments, and ex officio reports. Mr. Trainer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't have anything to note tonight.
All right, anybody down the row, raise your hand. Oh, boy, okay. They got told, huh? Don't have anything. All right, Madam Clerk, anything tonight?
I've had enough tonight, thank you.
Had enough tonight, okay. All righty, IT, anything tonight?
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to quickly assure the council and the public, our meetings are YouTube live streamed, and we have, and that is solely non-participating. We also have Teams of virtual participation on the city website. You can actually sign up virtually to participate in the Teams meeting. All you have to do is hit register, and you'll be sent a link. And so any member of the public can virtually participate in the meetings as well.
All right, and I'm sure everybody who was talking about communication was music to Bart's ears tonight, right? It is why we hired him, right, Bart? All righty. Okay, anybody up here to my left, any comments tonight? No? No comments tonight? Okay. All right, anybody, okay, nothing down here tonight. Okay, all righty, thank you very much. And that will take us to the consent agenda. On the consent agendas, all items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be approved with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so requests, in which case the item may be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately at the discretion of council. We have items A, B, and C. I have had a couple of council members asked to pull off item B, and one council member asked to pull off item C for just a little further clarification tonight. So hopefully those staff members are here and can address those issues. So is everyone in agreement to pulling off consent items A and B? I'm sorry, B and C? Councilmember Rick, yes? Yes? Everybody down there, yes? Okay, all righty. So with that, what would council like to do with the consent agenda? Councilmember Verhoff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that item number B on the consent agenda move to next week's regular meeting for a discussion.
Okay, what we need to do is approve the consent, we're going to do a little bit different, okay? Because we will have to do that under new business now, and we can do that at that time. We'll request it to be moved at that time. So right now, we're just going to approve the consent agenda. So the motion would be to approve the consent agenda item A and take off B and C to put onto new business, and at that point, we can make your motion to move it.
All right, I move to approve item number A on the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion. Councilmember Rick?
Second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the consent agenda only, item 7A, B, and C, moving to new business. Please vote.
7 yes, motion carried.
Okay, now that takes us item 9A, considerations of items removed from the consent agenda. We have item B, Resolution 25-058, a resolution prohibiting the installation of gray water treatment works and the association use of gray water within the city of Fountain in accordance with the requirements of House Bill 24-1362. And I know what your request is, for give me just a second and make sure we're going to do that correctly. Madam Clerk or City Manager, he is going to ask to have that to next week. Can we do that, or should we just go ahead with it tonight? Because that is something that we have to do by the end of the year, is that correct?
That's something that we need to make a decision on, yes, by the end of the year.
Okay.
There's two ways we can do it. You can have Taylor speak to it tonight.
Okay.
And then when it comes to the decision point, then the council can make the decision to either do something with it tonight or push it off till next week. Or the council can just right off the bat say, hey, let's hold off on that till next week without a presentation. You have a couple options there.
Councilmember Hertzberg?
Since the parties are here tonight, I'd kind of like to hear it tonight.
I agree. I'd like to move forward with this tonight if possible. Taylor? Or Dan?
Actually, I
Whoever?
think I'll take the first one, and I'll let Taylor take the second one.
Okay.
Gosh, I feel like I'm really loud here. Yeah, thank you. Okay, as soon as I can get
You know
this
you're
thing
too
to-
loud if Mr. Couch back there takes off his headphones, so, yeah.
Am I too loud, Daryl? Okay, all right, I just getting a little feedback there. But there was House Bill 24-1362 that was passed to enable the installation of gray water treatment works and the use of gray water in new construction projects.
Mr. Hurt, could you define gray water?
Gray water would be not potable water and not black water. And black water would be what you would flush down the toilet. So gray water would be water that would go into the drain from a sink in your home or a shower, washing machine. So basically anything between potable water and toilet water. Is that?
What is street runoff?
That would be storm drainage.
Which goes to a separate container than one of those two?
Yeah, that's, the gray water is water that was, I think, the best way to describe it is what was once potable water, and it's been used, but not toilet use. And so the House bill that passed and was enacted with the signature of the governor enabled that the installation of gray water systems, treatment systems in new construction projects. It had a provision in the act that a governing body is responsible for adopting building codes that if they did not take action, whether it be a municipal government or a county government, that if action was not taken by the 1st of January of 2026, that would go into effect. Otherwise, the municipal or governing body would have to pass a resolution or a ordinance to prohibit that. In the city of Fountain, we do not issue our own building permits. This type of system would require a building permit, and in fact would only be permitted within a new project. And so that the building permits are issued by the Pikes Peak Regional Building Department. They addressed this issue on November 19th in their advisory board. City Council member Gordon Rick is on that board. He reached out to me immediately following that meeting to let me know that the Regional Building Department is not set up to implement these types of systems. We've also, earlier this year, we had reached out to the Fountain Sanitation District to see what their position was on there. And they had not addressed it with their board, but they also had some concerns with that. So that we can, at least my sense is that, you know, if we were to allow these, an individual could come in and say that they wanted to permit one, and when they got to regional building, they wouldn't be able to do that. And so it would create some confusion. And so my thought is that until the regional building is ready to permit those, and whatever issues that Fountain San has can be addressed, I'm recommending that we prohibit them at this time, and then at some point in the future, we could reconsider that if it's deemed appropriate. As far as the city goes, we're the water provider. and the act stipulates that the building department is required to notify and coordinate with the local water provider. The reason that would be the case is that some of these systems are actually recirculating systems, and so there's a possibility for a cross connection. And so any of those types of systems would require a backflow prevention device, of which we already have a backflow prevention and cross-connection rules and regulations on the books. And so we have a program for that. So my recommendation at this time is that we pass Resolution 25058 prohibiting the installation of gray water treatment works and the use of gray water within the city of Fountain. Be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, this is just being passed by a resolution, so we can easily,
Correct.
if regional building comes back in 6 months and says they're ready for it,
Yep. We just repeal this resolution.
we repeal the resolution.
one vote.
and
Yes.
And they will have their policies and procedures and rules all in place to use it. Regional building, before we go there.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we don't want to send somebody over there to get permitted when they don't
Right.
have a process to permit them
Right,
with.
right, and then now we're the bad guys because, yeah, I get it, okay. All right, Councilmember Hertzberg, does that answer your question? Does it answer your question? I know I'm comfortable with that moving forward tonight, but go ahead.
I'd more or less like to, it's not necessarily a question on it. I've actually been working on gray water in Colorado for about the last 15 years. So it's one of those things I'm oddly familiar with. I really appreciate the work that you and Taylor have done, Dan, on this policy. Gray water is something that we need to figure out a way to move forward with, especially with the rapid growth in population in the Front Range region. But it's something that right now we don't have the process to do that for our citizens. So I think that right now a temporary ban should be in place. But I think that it's something we should move forward with in the future to find a process to make it work.
Okay, was that sort of a motion? Okay, it was almost a motion.
And with that, if there's no further discussion on it, I'd move to go ahead and pass the resolution 25-058.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Councilmember Hertzberg?
Second.
Okay, so just to clarify, the motion is to move ahead with prohibiting the installation of gray water treatment works for Resolution 25-058. Okay, please vote. Abstain, just for the two new members. Please don't abstain. It just appears magically there, and you're elected according to our charter to vote yes or no. So, okay.
I have 7 yes, motion carried.
7 yes. Did you hear that? You have 7 yes. 7 yes. Been a while. Okay.
Madam Mayor, if I could just add to the record that Mrs. Ruffinack has been added to the voting for this from here forward. Thank you.
Yes. All right. We'll get your official name badge and everything. All right. Okay, thank you. The other one was Resolution 25-059, a resolution authorizing and approving the lease and augmentation agreement for the 25-year lease of the Chilcott Ditch shares from the Fountain Fort Carson School District Number 8. Mr. Murphy, you're on for this one. Oh, you're even moved. Okay.
So what this item is, this is an extension of a current lease the city has had for about 15 years. Effectively, the school district, when they bought the property that they have now built the Fountain Fort Carson High School District on, that was historic irrigated farmlands that was irrigated by the Chilcott Ditch. So when they bought the property, they also acquired the water rights associated with it that irrigated it. They're obviously not in the business of irrigating or using water. Sometime in the past, the city got with the school district, said that they could use those water rights and they could also use them to help the school district operate any wells on certain city properties that they may want to do to irrigate with non-potable water or just reduce their water footprint. So that agreement was executed. What it does is that the the school district's 2.5 shares of the ditch, which is out of 105 shares that the company owns, those are leased to the city of Fountain. fountain gets the water from those water rights. That water is added on top of the city's already owned 25 shares. So this is just increasing the city's yield of Chilcot Ditch water by about 10%, just a small, nice boost. We use that water for multiple general purposes. We use it so that we can augment and run our city wells. We send that water down to Agra and other groups in the lower Arkansas Valley. We trade that water up into Pueblo. Really, it's just all-purpose, high-quality water that fits in the city's portfolio. So when the most recent lease was expiring, we felt that it was really kind of burdensome to just go back every few years and renegotiate and try and renew this lease. We know that we like this water. We know that the school district had a favorable view of this lease. So we asked if they would be amenable to just locking the water up for 25 years in a long-term lease for the city so that we could do long-term planning without having to entertain the thought that the water might not be there at some point. They were agreeable to it. We drafted a lease on similar terms to how we've operated for the last 15 years. We believe that it's a fair price. It's just the same price we've been paying before, increasing with inflation every year. And the lease retains the right that if the school district does desire to pump any wells for non-potable water for irrigation, the city can perform the water accounting that goes with that, because that's not something the school district is in the business of doing. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Councilmember Hertzberg?
Thank you, Taylor, and Dan for that clarification. Just having these two resolutions back to back, one gray water no and one non-potable yes, I had to look up the difference. And so I really just wanted to have a conversation for the public to kind of understand what was going on with both of these. So my questions are answered now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to make a motion then?
All right. I move to approve Resolution 25059.
Second.
Councilmember Verhoff?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further deliberation? Seeing none, please vote.
Seven yes, motion carried.
All right, thank you very much. And that takes us on to item 10, City Council Agenda Requests. I'm sorry? 9, oh, I was wanting that one to be over with, wasn't I? Okay. All right, thank you, Councilmember Estes, or whoever whispered in my ear. All righty, that takes us on to item 9B, appointment of a mayor pro tem. The mayor pro tem is an important job. They retain their position as a city council member, vote like everybody else, but I'm in the place of the mayor if the mayor was unavailable or was asked to step forward to help them out. It happened, I think one time Mr. Rick stepped forward when I had a conflict of interest when something that was on the agenda that night, and he ran that item. So that is something for Mayor Pro Tem. Now, in the past, we've done this in a variety of ways. It's whoever hits the button fastest, and I've never really cared for that way. We've submitted names to city clerk, so we kind of know who might be interested. Raise your hand tonight if you're interested in being Mayor Pro Tem. That seems about the most easiest way to do it. And we have one down there, Councilmember Estes is interested in being Mayor Pro Tem. Anyone else interested? Okay, make it nice and simple tonight. Councilmember Geek.
I make a motion to approve.
To appoint?
Appoint Tamara Estes as Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, we have a motion. Councilmember Hertzberg.
Second.
Okay, that's a motion and a second. Is there any further deliberation? That is the easiest I have ever done. Okay, please vote.
7 yes, motion carried.
All right, congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem Estes. All right, now can I go on to the next one? All right, Mayor, number 10, is there any, to my people on my left, is there any city council agenda request for a future agenda? Councilmember Rick.
Yes, Madam Mayor. The American Legion has approached me and asked me to see what we can do to open up Southmore Drive. With that in mind, I would like to request that that be added to the public agenda for the first meeting in January to discuss with staff and with council what we can do to open Southmore Drive.
Even if we can't open it, I think it might be a good discussion for the public to have and kind of find out what the thoughts and ideas are. Is anybody else interested in adding Southmore Drive just in general to the as a discussion item? I think that's a good idea. We had it when we started there and everything, and yeah. Do we still have that list of citizens who came to that meeting when you discussed what was going on with it? Did y'all create a sign-in sheet or anything? No?
Yeah, no
I'd
clue.
really love to get some information to them about, we're going to be discussing it so they can watch online. Bart, maybe you can help us with that? Because we had a good turnout from the people in the Southmore area when this initially happened.
Are you speaking of the meeting that we had down at the church?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a good turnout. I
Ben
think.
might have a list for us.
Yeah, I just want to make sure if they were interested that we kind of maybe a little extra effort on that. Okay, because that has really affected their life. Anything else?
No, Madam Mayor, thank you.
Okay, anybody else down here? No agenda requests? She's like, I'm not talking yet. Okay, any agenda requests to the right here? All right, thank you very much. Okay, announcement of an executive session, Madam Clerk?
No, ma'am.
All right, then we are